Hi, Humble Rookie, and welcome to the video. So in case you weren't aware, the MG43 is legit one of the best support weapons in the game. And we all get it for free as cadets, bro. Generally speaking, while Super Helldive is heavy on the tank spawns, you also get an increase in spawns for the medium and light infantry, and in my experience, it is actually really nice having one guy dedicated to handling just all of that nonsense. And plus, with a little finesse and some know-how, you can use the MG43 to take out some of the heavies. Moving on to the base stats of the MG43. You got 3 magazines in reserve, holds 175 rounds in each, and it does all of that with medium pen. Now granted, this does come at the cost of having to stop to reload, but with proper support stratagems and just in general being mindful of where you're stopping and reload, you can mitigate these shortcomings. One extra bonus about the MG43 that I love is that it allows your back to be free for whatever you happen to find out on the field. Supply packs or even extra support weapon backpacks that you can, grab from your teammates and reload them up and assist them reload their weapons. I personally love doing that. I still think it's dope. Moving on, let's talk about its usage with each of the factions and what I usually do with them. But first, I want to make one special call out in regards to the MG43. And this is a pure preference thing. I always have it set to 900 RPM. You're more than welcome to run what you prefer. I think 900 RPM is sweet spot for me. I can do some control burst and still be pretty accurate with it. And just, for example, taking down weak spots on maybe, exposed parts of Impalers or even Hulks. I feel like the 900 RPM is just more ideal for hitting those weak spots or just taking everything down. As long as your, accuracy is good, you shouldn't have to worry about the ammo consumption with this. Moving on with the bots. First, I want to talk about the rocket striders and just the walking striders in general. Aim for their legs, their crotch area, and just drop them real quick and fast. Devastators can just be staggered out of existence with this. Hit him in the chest or just 4 shots to the face, you can just drop them easily. Did I also mention that with some careful aiming, you can actually drop gunships with this? Aim for their thrusters, lead your shots if you see them moving, and you'll make quick work of them. Okay, moving on to the walking striders. I'm gonna be real with you. Can you take them out with an MG43? Yes. Do I recommend it? I mean, if you're already in an ideal situation where you could just aim up into the exposed area and just take them out, by all means, take advantage of it. Otherwise, if you're rocking the MG43, I would say focus any of the enemies that it drops to support your anti-tank teammates, or more importantly, what I like to do is you can pinpoint and shoot off the turrets on the front side of it. Takes a few shots, take some sustained fire, but you can take them down. I'd prefer to be more of a support role when it comes to those super heavies like that than anything else. You can take care of Hulks by aiming at their weak spots on their backs. With stun grenades, you can make this simple by stunning them out and then just running right behind them to blast out their weak spot. Looking at this light and medium infantry, specifically talking about the troopers, the commissars, scout striders, even berserkers, they're, for the most part, a non-threat with the MG43. Troopers and commissars will drop from 1 shot to their, midsection, especially if they're the jump pack variety. Or if you blast off a limb, they're pretty harmless after that. Berserkers, on the other hand, I typically aim for their midsection just to slice them in half. A quick little spray, and they just completely fold into 2 pieces. And that's really it when it comes to the bots. There's not a whole lot of structures that you can damage with the MG43. Overall, with the bots, I like that it can handle Devastators. It's a good supporting weapon, especially if you already have plenty of anti-tank on the team. Moving on to the squids, also known as the Illuminate, the MG43 can currently handle all enemies that faction has to throw at us. I'm going to start with the Harvesters, which you might be looking at me like, how the hell do you take out a walking Harvester with it? Well, first and foremost, 175 rounds, that'll make quick work of that shield that they have. Afterwards, I don't aim at the midsection, aim at the leg joints. It takes some practice to get used to it, but with some controlled burst, you can literally slice their legs off. No other anti-tank needed for them. Looking at the vote list, I mean, they're literally just a horde enemy. They're fairly weak. They'll die in 1 to 2 shots. Again, MG43 has plenty of ammunition just to take care of them. Overseers, whether they're the flying variant or not, again, medium pen. If you aim at their midsection, you'll drop them fairly quick. Or if you got, aim a little bit, only just a handful of shots to blast off their helmet and finish them off. Overall, the MG43 is a good all-around pick when it comes to the Illuminate. Same with the Watchers, they die in maybe 2-3 shots to a burst, and again, go prone, be nice and considerate, and you'll hit them at range as well. As it is, until the Illuminate adds some new enemies to their faction, the MG43, or really a whole lot of other weapons, are pretty good all-arounders for them, in my opinion. So the last faction we've got, the bugs. So, besides a handful of the enemies that the bugs have to offer, the MG43 can effectively handle most of the lineage with relative ease. Out of all the factions, I think the MG43 shines the most against the bugs just because so many enemies are susceptible to what the MG43 brings to the table. Let's start with like literally the fodder type of enemies. So you know, the scavengers and bile spitters, they literally will die in one tap. The light infantry isn't much different, with hunters dropping just a handful of shots when you do hit them. Plus, they stop in their tracks. Even if they're mid-jump and you happen to hit them, they literally just stop and just drop to the ground, Looney Tunes style. With a large magazine, you can really keep it firing line down and like hose in an area to keep the bugs at bay. Moving on to something a little bit heavier, let's talk about the hive guards. So with these guys, you know, the guys with the big old heavy face plates, you know, the armor in their head, well, you penetrate that armor with these, dog. One little quick burst, and they drop. Super easy. How about something a little heavier? Alpha commanders. So with these guys, you can spend the ammo to just to burst out their heads, and they'll, you know, they'll drop, they'll bleed out a little after that. However, I would recommend first cutting off one of their front legs and then going for the head and letting them bleed out or die after that.
Wait, did you take
Reason
my
I say that is
jump
because if you go for the head first and they still have all their legs, they will go into that, you know, that final bit of rage and just start running forward and swing at you. Now, I do need to mention stalkers, which unfortunately, the MG43 will not stagger them like it does some of the other enemies in the game. So with them, I will have to say, if you are playing with bugs and you're not bringing in stuns, or if you don't have a primary like the pummeler or even like the slugger that can stun them, be vigilant. Make sure when you hear them, try to get the drop on them first. With the dedicated burst or spray, you can drop them before they get near you and tongue you to death. But you gotta be on your toes with them. Moving on to something a little bit more annoying, in my opinion, the bile spewers. And I am happy to say, with them, you can aim anywhere and drop them. You can cut off their legs relatively easy. If you burst down their face, they'll literally just die right there in the spot. Or, if you're having trouble aiming their face, or if you can't see their face, literally just aim for their giant sack. They will either burst or just drop right then and there. Oh man, Shriekers are a breeze, dude. Like, literally just one shot to the main body, and they will just drop out of the sky. Ooh, by the way, did you know that the MG43 can actually destroy a Shrieker nest? It does take some time, but if you're lacking, you know, any sort of heavy support, or maybe all your stratagems are on cooldown, it is an alternative to take them out, at least if you're nearby. Okay, so moving on to the heavy bugs. And look, I'm gonna be honest, while you can technically kill all of the current bug heavies in the game with the MG43, I honestly wouldn't recommend it. Unless the situation calls for it and you've got nothing else and there's no other teammates that can assist you with it, and you absolutely have to fight them and cannot run away or reposition. Reason I say that is because with how long it can take to drop one of these guys, you're leaving yourself open to an attack, and you're also just using quite a bit of ammunition just to drop one of these heavy guys, when in my opinion, it would just be better if you backed up your anti-tank people and provided covering fire for them, you know. And that's it. To sum it up, the MG43 always has a place on Super Helldive. It's a workhorse that can handle many things well, and in my opinion, has a fairly sweet middle ground between the other two machine gun stratagems currently available, being the Stalwart and the HMG. Both are great in their own regards, but I love the versatility of the MG43. It's the autocannon of the machine gun family, if you ask me. Hope you learned something from this. Please share in the comments if there's anything that I might have missed. And if there's any other weapon or stratagems you'd like to see where I maybe share what works for me on Super Helldive, then let me know in the comments as well. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and if you're still here, have a good day.